Hey, folks, got a theory, got a proof? Did you just wake up from a dream that you're convinced wasn't yours? Well, you should call into the show. Let's connect the dots before someone cuts the power. Truth Wanted, baby, starting now. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Truth Wanted. I'm your host, Objectively Dan. This is the live call-in show that happens every single week, Fridays at 7 p.m. Central Time, where we talk to people about what they believe and why. And if you'd like to call us, you should do that because the lines are open right now. The number is 512-991-9242, or call through your computer at tiny.cc/calltw. And as always, Truth Wanted is a product of the atheist community of Austin, a 501c3 nonprofit organization dedicated to the promotion of atheism, critical thinking, secular humanism, and the separation of religion and government. And every single week, I always try to have a special guest. This week is no different, folks. It is Chris Mallard joining the show today. Chris, welcome back to Truth Wanted. It has been a hot minute, sir. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me back, Dan. I know it's been about 6 years since I've been with you on the show. I was on the show with Kelly a few months ago, 7 months ago. But me and you, man, it's been a long time.
Because I was thinking about it yesterday, and I was like, when was the last time, Chris? Because I know you were on. I was like, well, how long ago was that? Yeah, it was before COVID. In 2019 was when that was, which is crazy to think about that. But thanks for coming back to the show. Happy to have you today.
Thank you. A lot has happened since then. Goodness gracious, man.
Yeah, a lot has happened, huh? Gosh, gee whiz, a lot's happened. And a lot of it not good.
I didn't want to put too fine a point on it.
You don't want to put too fine a point on it. You don't want to put too fine a point on it. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. But regardless, some good things for both of us, I'm sure. And I want to talk to you about what you've been up to since then, because you've got some new projects up in the works. But before we do that, we have to talk about last week's results of the We Want the Truth segment, because every single week we're asking you guys a question or a prompt. And Kelly is going to be joining us here to give us that question, what we ask in just a second. Hey, Kelly, what's up?
Hey.
Kelly, you are muted, and you're like super muted right now. That's
way to kick in the door.
I know he's looking fresh though.
I was talking like an angel.
But yeah, you're looking fly though today, as usual, Kelly. So thank you very much.
So I was going to say, what I was saying when you couldn't hear me was that this is not last week's question, because we weren't here last week because of the holiday. But it is from the question from 2 weeks ago, and it is, what is an offer that Jesus couldn't refuse? And here are our favorite answers. There's some good ones. I'm already laughing. That's why I'm having such a hard time. Number 3, P. Schneider 708 says, an offer Jesus couldn't refuse is a super cheap deal on a long John Silver's franchise. That's pretty good, because everybody's going to be eating fish every Friday, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. He was about that investment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was. Especially when you can multiply it, that's just infinite profit.
Ooh, dude.
Right.
That's true. And Jesus was, if there's one thing I know about Jesus, he was very much into making money. I think he talked about that quite a bit.
Yes.
So.
And he was very much about not giving that money away.
Right. Yeah. No, he was. I remember he went to the temple, and there was a table there, and he was like, how can I invest in this business? Right. He was like, he was really into that entrepreneurship.
That's right. Yeah.
I recall that story too. Now that I think about
there's actually this circular thing, it really makes sense. Go to the rich and tell them to give their money to the poor. Step 1. Go to the poor, tell them to give their money to you. Step 2. If everybody follows the rules, you get the rich's money. I like that.
Sort of a reverse trickle down economic situation.
I'm in the wrong business.
Yeah. I'd say
so. Over, right?
Oh man, what's our next one, Kelly?
Number 2, from Alexander KTN. What's an offer Jesus couldn't refuse? A 3-day money-back guarantee on gravestones.
That is, yeah. He took advantage of that for sure. Awesome. They must have been really pissed when that happened. But hey, what could you do, right?
Can you see him rolling up and going, can I get my money back on this? I mean, I'm not dead. Here I am.
Here it is. Anyway, that's a good one. I like it.
That is. That's pretty creative. And No God Required, great name, says, what is an offer Jesus could not refuse? A coupon to get his nails done for free at a beauty salon grand opening.
Yeah.
That's kind of
his nails, dude.
That's
he nailed that one like a Roman.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. At first I was like, oh, wait, am I dumb? I don't get it. I was like, yes, I am dumb. I don't get it. And now I got it. And now that's pretty good. I see why that was the number one pick. Oh man! If there is a hell, I think we are going.
Oh
to
yeah,
it,
we're
right?
definitely
Okay. We're done. Yes. That's fine. I've accepted that. Well, those are really good answers. You guys delivered these last 2 weeks. That's great. Maybe we need to do a week off more often to collect some more good answers.
There you go.
I don't know.
Give them time to think.
Yeah. What's our number? Not number one? What is our prompt for this next week?
Next week.
Yeah.
What do inner circle atheists not want you to know? Chris, what do you think they don't want us to know?
I don't think we don't want. Oh wait. Oh wait. I thought I was being asked as if I was an inner circle atheist.
Well, you could be on the inner circle. I'm not sure.
I was all honored when they posed me the question. Yeah. Okay. So I was going to tell them what we, the inner circle of atheists, because suddenly I thought I was in them. Don't want you to know is the secret we're keeping is that there's the growing underground black market trade in pics and videos of R and Ra doing bikini try-on hauls.
Whoa.
Right,
man.
Right, exactly. If you know what a bikini try-on haul is, shame on you. Shame on you, because we know what you're doing watching that stuff.
Man, okay, that's pretty in depth.
I know. See why you didn't? I know he's all disturbed that I let the secret out. You see the look
now you
on
let
Dan's
the secret
face?
out. It's not good. I was going to say the real agenda of atheists isn't to make people atheists, but to make more people play Dungeons and Dragons. That was what I think the real agenda is about.
Okay, that's a good one.
That's my take. What about you, Kelly?
I was thinking, and mine's a real simple answer, that the inner circle is actually really a triangle.
Okay. Like, is there more to that than just it's a different shape, or like?
Yeah, we don't. I mean, we are pretty much nonconformists, right?
Okay, all right.
So we wouldn't have an inner circle.
I guess that works. That's a real thinker, Kelly. It's a thinker.
No smart people jokes, Kelly. No smart people jokes.
Yeah. Clearly, I'm a bit delayed in my understanding tonight, so it's not really working in my favor. But hey, everybody gave great answers. Thank you so much for our top 3 contributors. And can tell us in the comments below, not in the chat, but in the comments, what do inner circle atheists not want you to know? And we will read the best answers in the next episode. Thanks, Kelly.
Thank you.
We'll see you later.
I'll see you later.
Going back to you, Chris, again, happy to talk to you again. What have you been up to, sir? Actually, let's start with this, because I think there's a lot of people who have not seen you before, at least on this show. So maybe let's start there. Who is Chris Mallard?
I am the amazing Super Chris. Thank you for having me, Dan. I am Chris Mallard, the host of the Daily Atheist Morning Show, and we recently started another channel called Theocracy Watch. Every morning, Monday through Friday, we host the Daily Atheist Morning Channel. It's lighthearted and fun. You know, there are a lot of call-in shows where Christians engage with atheists and make for that kind of excitement. We're less dramatic in that fashion. We try to be fun and lighthearted, like a morning show. You know? I've got a co-host. Her name is Ryan Coltastic. She's extremely funny. Not as funny as me, though. We have rules about that sort of thing. She is like smarter than me and prettier than me and all those other things. But I'm the funny one, so that's all that really matters.
Get you a lot of mileage.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But it's a lighthearted show, Monday through Friday. It's a lot of fun. I started it about a year ago. Well, actually, I started it in 2019, and we ran it for a year, shut her down, burned out, whatever. But now I'm back. We've been running it for almost a year, and I'm not burning out this time. In fact, things with the show are going fantastic. The Daily Atheist Morning Show at The Damn Show. My microphone. The Daily Atheist Morning Show we just now broke 10,000 subscribers.
Yeah,
and congratulations
to that. That's a great you know, like with YouTube, it's always like the first 1,000 is the hardest, and you did 10 times that. So there you go. Like that's a really great accomplishment. And also doing a show, you know, sometimes I get tired of doing this show, and this is like once a week. You do it 5 days a week.
Yeah,
that's a big commitment. How do you handle that?
Well, you know, I masturbate a lot. Stress.
We're past the first 5 minutes. I think YouTube's okay with that. So, you know, we're good. We're good.
That's not too bad a word. No. You know, now it's not that bad. I got to be honest. I've got the best chat. Again, we try to keep it lighthearted. We joke around a lot. My chat is hilarious. The people who show up and visit in the mornings for the Daily Atheist Morning Show are just fantastic. And the Daily Atheist Morning Show hosting it has led me to meet so many fantastic people here in the atheist sphere. I mean, everybody from Mandisa, Black Non-Believers, wonderful person. You, Dan, you're awesome. Got to see your wedding photos. I get to meet Seth next weekend. You know, it's weekend after next. It's been a fantastic, exciting adventure for me this last time getting it started up. And I want to say that one of the things that has changed thanks to the Daily Atheist Morning Show is, I mean, I got to go to the Ark Encounter protest last weekend. Right. I was the master of ceremonies, the MC. I got to introduce people. I got to do everything I could. I tried to do everything I could to not pass out. I
thought about this earlier this week because I almost thought Kelly should have hosted this week because Kelly also got to go to the ARC protest that happened. And John also hosted the show, was also there. And I was not. Yes. I did not get to make myself out there. So I am very curious because I've heard a lot of stories from Kelly about what's happened so far. So what was your experience like going to that protest?
Well, it was stupid hot.
Yeah, I believe it.
And it was stupid hot. That's kind of, well, you know, it was one of those things where it's a needed message. We really got to get that out. And it was, of course, all right, let's separate a couple things. One is the Ark Encounter protest, of course. Right. And then the other one is the experience. Okay. I'd never been to Kentucky before. I didn't know they had so many trees. It is beautiful. Everywhere you go, it's beautiful. There's these rolling hills and the green is fantastic. It was all right. But with that comes humidity. I have never experienced that kind of humidity before.
Oh man! So when you said pass out, because when you were saying that earlier, I thought you meant out of like nervousness, but you literally mean like out of not having a heat stroke. Like that was the worry.
Yes, that was the worry. Okay, so to give you a quick rundown, we were going to start at 11 a.m. I'm going to live stream it. So I've got a computer. Now, I don't really have a laptop capable of doing it. So I brought a little computer. I literally had a computer, a monitor, this whole thing that I lugged around. And me and the sound guy, we're getting there. And then they had to set up the stage. So they're like, we're going to set it up over here. Now, it's at least 80 degrees, 85. And the humidity was just so hot. And then before it was over, I'm just talking about in the beginning, 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, you're standing out there, no shade. And so we're going to set the stage up here. So we move all our equipment over there. And we're going to move it. It's better. So we move it over and we moved our equipment like 4 times.
Chris, I heard this too. I heard that the Christians prayed for the sun to stay still in one spot so that it could beat down harder on you guys.
I think it did.
Yeah.
I think it did. Yeah. It was stupid hot. It was. Yeah. And on top of that, though, I was also kind of running around and greeting people. Hello, how are you doing? Welcome. Get on up here. And I want to be honest with everyone. I put in 20 years in the oil field. I've worked in the heat, but it's a dry West Texas heat. But I know when I'm getting too hot. I know how to chill, how to cool down. I know when I'm overheating, heat stroke. For reals, I am not shitting you. Ask anybody there. It was hot. When we finally started and we said go, and I pulled the first person up on the stage, I was already at the point of being too hot. So hot, I was just having a hard time thinking. It was Ember. I know Ember, but I had a little more prepared. It was just so hard to even just do anything. But it was so hot and so humid. I was drinking water, just going, we have money towards hair dryers.
Yeah, we do. And so, folks, if we get these on the screen so I could read that back again. That would be awesome. But yes, I will go ahead and say this today. We are going to bring back fun facts today. which means we will interrupt each other with fun facts when super chats are.
Did you know that flamingos can only eat with their head upside down? I just thought I'd interrupt you with the fact.
So ready for that? Yeah, eat upside down.
Yeah.
That's
Look at your shirt, right?
Yeah, I am wearing some flamingos on this shirt. I brought this one back. It's been a minute,
So my interruption was on point.
Yeah, you were good at that. That was great. I should probably read the super chat though, if we could put that back up, because I think K-Dub would appreciate it. Yes, that's kind of part of the point with super chats. So whenever they can get it on screen in just a second. But yeah, we will be interrupting each other with fun facts as they come up. Oh, actually, I have it here typed out. It's KW gave $5. Thank you so much. And said, here's money towards hair dryers so the ACA can hold a virtual unbaptizing ceremony. I would like a certificate with hair dryers. That's pretty funny, actually. Yeah, how does that work? You got to get all the water off of you, or just like internally too? I don't know. But I like it regardless. Thank you so much.
Unbaptized. Would that be like a car? Would that be like a when you get your car washed and you go through it and it starts blowing you at the front? Yeah, and all the way. Yeah, it blows the baptism. Yeah, I like it. Yeah,
but like with like devil horns on it and stuff. Like probably I can see it. So you go out there and it's really hot. Like, did you get to? Was there counter protesters to the protesters? Was what was the vibe like? What was going on?
Well, I got to tell you, they were talking. There was threats. My understanding is that Kent Hovind himself, the whacking atheist man, was going to be there with his followers, if you will.
Yeah,
and
that
they
was
were
the rumor
going to
I heard
protest
as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, also, they were a little concerned for their safety. So I heard rumor. This is just somebody heard a rumor. I'm telling you now, it's just a rumor. I heard a rumor from the place that they were going to bring some biker friends to protect them in case us rowdy atheists got out of hand.
Yeah. Okay. Christian bikers from a Christian bike organization.
Yes,
I'm assuming.
Yeah, probably so. Yeah.
Heaven's Angels. Right? Gotta be.
Yes. But my understanding is that Kent Hovind got lost and couldn't find the place.
What?
And nobody showed up.
Did he print out his copy of MapQuest get lost in the printer? Like, what happened?
Yeah.
What's going on?
I don't know. That's all I heard, that somehow he got lost. I mean, I thought these guys kind of knew right where their compounds, each one of them were.
I would imagine he's been there before, but maybe not. That's kind of interesting. Some kind of Dickie says, kudos to Chris for sporting the Minnesota Vikings mug skull and gave $6.66. Fuck, I was not ready for my fun fact. I'm not Googling things right now. Don't worry about it. It's fine. The deepest part of the ocean is approximately 35,876 feet down. So that's pretty far down.
That's pretty far down.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I don't know. It's like that's an okay fact. Maybe I can do better next time. I'll try harder on the next one. But So Kent Hovind was not there. Was there any other Christians that were there? Like, were there people that didn't like you being there? What was that like?
Well, there was a little bit of an adventure in that department too. So the Christians that were going to counter protest did not show up. However, there was at least one Christian who infiltrated us. Infiltrated. Okay, so I did see Facebook posts from a Christian who is a cool guy and wanted to know in our stuff. So he came in, he talked. I'm not talking about that guy. He's cool.
Okay.
I'm talking about, there was a guy up on a hill overlooking the protest, live streaming with his own little phone there, and he was talking about us, and he's like, "What's that sign say?" And he said, "It says the genocide," and reading our signs. I don't know what I can say on the channel. Sorry, about as far as well. But he was like,
say whatever the hell you want. I was joking about that earlier. So go ahead.
Oh no. Okay. Well, he was like, it says the genocide and incest park. I'm sure they got a lot. Like, he clearly doesn't know what's in Genesis and the Noah's Ark story and why we call it the genocide and incest. Clearly not. But where I'm going with this is, he said, and we've got Mike. I think his name was Mike. Mike has gone down there and he's infiltrated them and he's going to let us know. So they had this thing. You can go find it on the interwebs. They had this thing where where they
I don't think it's infiltration if it's a public area that anybody can go to, right? Like it's one thing if you get into a conference or a convention or something. I mean, I guess anybody can buy a ticket to those, but it's like, aren't you guys just outside? Like, can't anybody come in?
Yeah. Well, I guess, you could. Did he come down there? Here's the thing. Let's just hash this out just a little bit. Did he come down there and go, hello, fellow atheists? I too do not believe in God. Or did he go down there? That's infiltration. Yeah. He infiltrated us and misled us to believe who he was. Or did he come down there and he goes, I'm a Christian. I'm just curious what's going on there. And I got a crazy nutbag friend. He's recording this from up there. I mean, which one? Were we infiltrated?
That's really funny, though. I heard that you did not get to go to the museum afterwards, but some other people got to go and look at that. So that's definitely something I need to do one of these days is actually check it out. But I bet it's so much more fun when you have a bunch of people with you. I'm surprised they let everybody in. I guess it's just money for them, but
well, I don't think that they are. So they don't let them in. I don't think they actually go into the park.
Okay, so it's just that's right, the park, but it was so this is what's confusing because there's the Ark. It's like the Ark Encounter. That's not where people got to go into, but there is a creation museum which is separate from the Ark, right? Yeah, Okay, they did let people in there.
Some really cool people. Now that was just a group of peeps. Godless Engineer, His Evil One, Casey, she's fantastic. I think the Skeptic got to go. Kelly got to go. A few people like that. It wasn't a big, huge group of like protesters. It's just people going to have fun. That was before the protest. That was the Saturday before, and I hadn't even gotten there yet on my plane. So I kind of missed that far. Sounded like fun. Now, as far as the Ark itself. There's like where the highway exit is. There's a little spot of grass and rock, and that's where we do our thing. Down the road, about like a quarter of a mile, maybe eighth of a mile, quarter of a mile, there is a half a kilometer, if you will.
Okay.
There was.
I don't speak French. Sorry.
Understood. Gotcha. Yeah. There was all right. So it's about 370 bananas.
Oh, all right. Now you've got me interested. Okay.
But there's the Ark Encounter entrance where you can go into the Ark. Okay. So now the tradition is after you can't even say, I could not see the Ark from the entrance. It's dug in there like a tick. Okay. So after the protest, they walk down from our place there at the intersection with their signs, hold up their signs to the entrance. And then they do a little protest there. And it's like a little tradition. Okay. My understanding is some people may go into the Ark, but we don't really go into the Ark itself because we're not going to give them money. Nobody's going to give them money.
Okay. Yeah. Makes sense.
Right. Occasionally someone will give out tickets. Free tickets, and then you might go in. Go do you, boo. But generally they don't go in. Now this time, I am not kidding, man. It was stupid hot. By the time the show started, I was already over hot. It was a 2-hour show of me bouncing around. And whenever they're at the end, they're like, go ask everybody if they want to walk down to the Ark entrance. I'm like, nobody wants to walk down there. Apparently they did. So they actually did their thing. Yeah, but I did not. As soon as my part was over, I shut down my equipment, put it back in my rental car, and then I got in the car and I did everything I could to just not pass out in my car. I sat there for 15 or 20 minutes because I did not trust myself to drive away. I was that hot.
Wow.
It was that.
Well,
That's Joe.
I'm glad you're okay. I genuinely, that sounds like a rough situation, especially if you're emceeing, right? And you're giving speeches and all that. So, I'm glad it sounded like it was a fun time. I would have been disappointed because I would have wanted to see Ken Hovind, but I feel like I owed an apology to all of the speakers because I had more prepared for almost all of them. Like Jay Bundy, for example, I walked out there. I wasn't familiar with Jay. I walked out there, talked to him for a minute, got some information. By the time I got back to the stage, I was having a hard time just remembering what we just talked to. I'd get off the stage. I'd be like, all right, here's Jay. Jay's awesome. And then I'd get off the stage and I'd go over in my head. I'd just sit over there and I'd drink water. Of course, I'd be going, okay, I gotta tell him, thank the Black Mamba, point out that thing over there. I just had to keep reminding myself of things to do because my brain was boiling in its pan. It was
It was something else. And that's not even how Joe tried to kill me. Joe, the Kentucky atheist, invited me to be the MC of this event. And besides trying to kill me with heat stroke, he also, I was alone and scared, surrounded.
Yeah, in Kentucky, of all places. Right?
Just wait. Let me tell you this story. The day before the event, I show up. And I'm driving from the airport to the hotel, and I tell Joe, I'm like, hey, man, can I come hang out with you? I want to help. I want to help you get the generator and get the stage or whatever you need to load up in the U-Haul. He's like, all right, we're going to be at the B&B. Cool. Can you give me the address to the B&B? He gives me the address to the B&B. He says, you'll see it because it's got, Ember's blue car out there. I'm like, okay, I know what Ember's blue car like. What do I know what that is,
Yeah. Well,
anyway, so I get to the address, and it's a really nice looking, house out in the sweaty Kentucky backwoods kind of area. It's really nice, but it was, dug in. And so I go up there and I knock on the door. And now, to be fair, there was a blue vehicle out front, you know? So I knock on the door and I hear these voices inside. I don't know what they're saying, and then I ring the doorbell and I hear them, and the neighbor comes over and he talks to me for a second. He said, I don't think that's a B&B. And I'm like, all right, well, let me call my friend. So I called my friend Joe, and I'm like, Joe, I'm here, man. I pressed the doorbell. I knocked on the door. I hear voices inside. He said, oh no, we were just in the back. Come on in.
Okay. All right. So
it was not Joe. It was not the right house. He sent me the
you
wrong
just
address.
walked in somebody else's house.
No, I did not. Dan, I'm not as dumb as I look, my brother. No.
Okay. Oh,
I'm from West Texas. You don't walk into anybody's house. I wouldn't go there.
That's fair. That's fair.
No. But I'm like, dude, were you trying to get me killed? This is freaking Kentucky, and you're telling me to go in.
Yeah, you need to come out and meet me in the front, right? That's how that works, right?
And he did. I told him the address I was at, and he's like, oh, it's 300, street, and he's like, oh, we're 297. He walks out and looks, and I see him back there, and he's looking the other way. He doesn't even know where he sent me or anything. That was the beginning of my experience. I've given him a lot of shit about it. It's a lot of fun. I'll never forget it.
Yeah, it sounds like you've been really tested that weekend. I think. You went through some trials.
Yes, trials and tribulations, like Moses.
Right, trials, tribulations, and other assortments of perils. But you're here. You're on the show with us. So
I survived.
Yeah, you survived. So that's really good. And folks, I need to remind you guys at home that this is in fact a call-in show, and we have open lines at the moment. We'd love to talk to you. What's our poll question today? I already forgot what we said it was. I think we're talking about government weather control stuff, because unfortunately, there's been recent stuff happening with in the news about folks dying, and actually very close to where I live in the Kerrville area. And I've seen this, and I know you probably have too, a lot of people talking about weather machines. That's always kind of been like a thing that people say, but that was always like not even Alex Jones talks about that too much. Like, it's just like, it's out there, real out there, right? Like, not a lot of investment, but it's coming back because like TikTok's a thing, and people are crazy. And I don't know, it's just kind of depressing that that's how we take things instead of,
it hurts the brain, doesn't it? It does.
Yeah. But
the same people who believe in this kind of weather control stuff don't believe in climate change.
That is an interesting idea. Right.
Tend to be.
I once went to a website. I wish I knew the name of it, but it was all about conspiracies around geoengineering, right? So, which is more than some of that includes weather modification stuff, but also includes like people putting chemicals in the water for things, and like all kinds of stuff that, and it's a whole subsection of sort of the conspiracy space that gets real weird real quick, and like weirder than normal, right? Because you have people who you always hear about, like, okay, there's like folks who peddle stuff like ivermectin, right, who have like medical degrees, and you think that's bad. What's really weird is the engineers who are like, yes, this is how they're building these super computers and these super machines that are effectively mind controlling you via I don't know, radio towers and cell phone towers and stuff like. I don't know. It's kind of bizarre, but yeah, that's the world we live in now. That's more mainstream. Isn't that cool? Isn't that great? Really cool.
No, oddly,
I said I wasn't going to get down today, and then I started talking about it anyway. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just been on my mind there. But anyway, Chris, you know, you have your daily show. You try to keep things light and airy.
Usually.
So usually, right? I guess you don't all the time because you talk about current events and stuff, right?
Well, if I may, I'll tell you, I have a co-host on the show, Ryan Kultastic. She is wonderful. Every day she does a little segment on the show where we call it Theocracy Watch, and she will tell us about what's going on in the world. She'll give us a little news report. For example, whenever the Christian conservatives in Oklahoma were they actually got it past the Supreme Court or whatever, up to the Supreme Court to fund a Catholic school. You know, a lot of people didn't know about it. You know, we this kind of thing.
I did not know about that until you told me about that just now. They are funding a Catholic school.
Okay, so the conservatives in Oklahoma tried to get it to where they tried to get a law bill passed. I'm sorry, I'm not terribly familiar with it. To where they could get federal funding for a Catholic church. It failed, so they pushed it on up to the Supreme Court.
Okay,
and the Supreme Court tied 4-4. 4-4. Can you believe 4-4? They would tie on the thing about funding, government funding for a religious church. Why would they tie on that? Amy Coney Barrett stepped aside, I believe, and didn't vote. 4-4. That tells you that's the theocracy.
Yeah, I guess they don't want to piss off Catholics or something. Yeah. I don't know.
Wow. But it did fail. But can you imagine? Can you imagine the absolute floodgate that would have been opened had that passed? Because every little church, every big church, every evangelical, if the Catholic Church can get money, and they're one of the richest, you know what I mean? If they can get our tax dollars for their schools here, then every little church is just going to milk our country dry. You thought we had financial problems. Well,
yeah, no, that's a good point. That's a bullet that was dodged. We would have been talking about that if that got passed for sure.
Dodged but man,
for now, that's right. It's always only for now. But man, why is it always Oklahoma, dude? Like every single time, the worst religious news that happens in this country, it is from Oklahoma. That is my opinion. I will not be changing it. Thank you. That is it. Like it's proven itself time and time again. Like who comes next? Maybe Kentucky. I mean, they got their stuff going on. I don't know. Like Florida's kind of. Texas isn't great either. But number one, it's Oklahoma. Got to be right. Maybe Texas is number 2 actually, because Texas has been rising again in really dope stuff. But you know,
and Florida, can't forget Florida. Florida's always
Florida's a top 5. Florida's a top 5 for sure. We need to. That's what we need to do for a poll. We need to do a like which one is like we need to do ranked choice voting on which one is the worst of offenders in people's opinions. I think.
True enough. But so we actually started another channel called Theocracy Watch, and I'm building that channel up and getting it going. And man, I got to say that's a very important topic. The Christian nationalists are really, really on the ball, organized. They got money. They are imposing their theocracy upon us at every turn. As a matter of fact, the panel I'm going to be on at NanoCon next couple of weeks from now with Seth Andrews is going to be about the Christian nationalism and the theocracy. That's what I'll be speaking on. And one of the things, I don't know if this is, a lot of people have noticed, never mind, I don't want to go into too much of the politics. Theocracy though, but if I can, there has been a political party that has been making it easier for religious groups to support that political party. And that's yes. And I don't know how much we can talk about those things on the show. Many
have said this. Many have said this.
Yes. It's a rumor, I think.
It's a rumor, right? I think that's fine. No, I mean we are a organization that is pro the separation of church and state, and so we're always going to talk about that every day of the week. I'll be honest, Chris, I feel more vindicated in the positions that I hold every year. I really do, because of how bad, there are some people who politically maybe align with us, but maybe on this kind of issue, maybe are a bit more, just feel differently about it, right? Maybe don't go as hard as we do. I feel so vindicated every day when I see this stuff. It's like, this is the stuff that at least our community has been talking about for years and years and years, right? It's been one of our pet issues as a community. this sort of overreach, and it's happening. It's happening,
Whenever back in 2019, when I had the first Daily Atheist morning show, Andy Hall, a comedian, was my co-host, and we had guests on the show all the time, and we talked about this. We talked about politics more than we talked about religion, and we did talk about this a lot back then.
I'm of the opinion.
Predicted
go
this.
Ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just saying we saw this coming. We were the guys standing on our cars, waving our arms, going, "Hey, this is going to happen. This is going to happen." There are things that are not right, and they're happening. And we were called alarmists. There were things we said on our channel. If you mention the mustache man too many times, but how can you not? Whenever MSNBC and CBS and legitimate news places are comparing, referring to people as authoritarian, these sorts of things. How do you not? But we predicted this years ago. A lot of this. To be honest, I didn't know it was going to be this bad.
Well,
I really didn't.
I've said this, on streams where I'm more open about our political stuff because we are the production of a nonprofit, folks. We have limitations and we respect that.
We do our best.
In other places, I have said, I don't think you can do an analysis of religion in this country without doing an analysis of politics. I really don't. Right. Yeah, I think your understanding has to be informed with that perspective in mind. There's a lot of people that complain when we talk about politics, but it's like, what do you think we're here for? Like, what you think they change? You think I just want to shutter down all the churches nearby me because I just think they look ugly? Like, that's not what we're doing. Like there's civil liberties involved and all kinds of other issues. So it's important. But
they're by the same rules that we go by as a 501. I say we as if I'm the group, because I'm part of the gang now. But some of the rules that we go by where we're not supposed to say certain things is mirrored with them. They, from their pulpits, were not supposed to mention certain things. But now that leash has been removed. We still can't say certain things. We can't go all in now. But the other side, the Christian theocracy that's being imposed upon us, can now from the pulpit.
That's right. In case you guys aren't aware, there was a recent the IRS put out a thing saying, I think it went to the Supreme Court. I don't know I can't remember all the details off the top of my head. I'm speaking contemporaneously, impromptu rather. But IRS basically said, hey, churches actually, no, it's cool. They can talk about politics, like they can endorse candidates and stuff. MBD is what they said on that one. And, it doesn't really work the same way for nonprofits, I guess. Even though the one time I bought some equipment using the Atheist Community of Austin credit card at Best Buy, and the lady was like, "Oh, is this an atheist church?" So a lot of people think we're churches, so maybe we can get away with that, but no, not really. It's not great. It's not great, Chris.
Well, liberal left-wing nonprofit organizations cannot publicly. No, it's not just us. It's any of them that are 503. Well, that's kind of the same thing. We're talking heads about reason, and so we're limited when it comes to those things. Their side was too. Mm-hmm. The opposite of us, coming from the pulpit, used to be limited. Yeah.
Didn't really. I don't know. In practice,
that's true. But at least some of them were afraid of it. There were a lot. How many pastors out there never did because they were afraid of losing the tax exemption for their little church?
At least
the threat was there.
Yeah, for sure.
But now it's not.
Yeah, chairs are being torn down every single day on that, and it's not great. But you know what, Chris? This is a call-in show. And there are folks that want to talk to us via calling in. Do you want to talk to some people?
No.
Okay. Well, I guess we can just end the show here.
Thank you, everybody. Yes, absolutely. I'm dying to talk to someone.
All right. Well, let's do it. Before we get to that, folks, we have to talk about the patron of the week, because every single week we're always giving a shout out to the folks that donate on our Patreon. I'd like to give a thanks to everybody that donates to the Patreon account. But this week's patron of the week is going to be the person that shows up on screen in just a second. There we go. Gotta get that graphic up ready when you are, crew. This week's patron of the week is going to be Phantom X. Thank you so much, Phantom X, and thank you to everybody that donates to the show. You guys are really awesome for that. And with that out of the way, let's talk to some callers, I guess. We're not really talking to the calls, but Phantom X is a cool online name. I gotta say that's a neat handle. Unless if that's your government name, that's even better. I'm gonna name my kid Phantom X. Actually, that'd be cool. But regardless, we're gonna talk to Brent from New Mexico, and Brent wants to talk to us about heart and weather control. So Brent, you are live on Truth Wanted. What's going on? Hello, Brent. Are you with us? Maybe you were waiting for a little bit and need to get back to the phone. All right, Brent, if you are talking, we cannot hear you. Hopefully you're still there. I'm going to put you back in the queue. So
Is
you
that
have
Brent,
not
troublemaker?
Yeah, Brent's not there, but that's okay. We got some other folks that want to talk to us. Folks, this is an ongoing conversation that is going to continue to happen. It is John from Canada calling back onto Truth Wanted again. And John from Canada says he has an announcement for me. John, you're live on Truth Wanted. What's up? Well, not hearing John either. We might be having some issues on our side then. May not be our callers. So I'm putting that back in the queue. And Chris, that's interesting because we were having some tech difficulties before the show started, and it sounds like we're having some tech difficulties right now, but that's okay because you know what? We're working with it.
That's right. Well, if I can.
Okay.
Dan, I actually went back and researched for this show. I went back and watched last week's program with John the Skeptic.
Oh, nice. Okay, great.
Yeah, that was a good one. And in that conversation, in that show, I remember hearing about this John's story.
That's
John, right? His name is John?
Yep, John from Canada.
The caller. John from Canada. So congratulations, John from Canada. I look forward to hearing what you have to say. I appreciate what you've been through. And for those of you who don't know, John from Canada called last week and told about how he is deconstructing. He didn't start out intending to be deconstructing. He was an antagonist Christian caller for a long time.
Yes.
But he's been reasoned away from his faith.
One of the longest antagonistic callers we've had on this program.
Really?
Kind of crazy. Again, I told this story how behind the scenes, I wanted to ban John from Canada because everybody would talk about how they didn't like hearing about calls from John because they thought he was a lost cause. But I thought, well, doesn't that get away from the spirit of the show? So I didn't end up going through with it. And I guess I'm glad that I did that because he seems to be changing his mind, although maybe he's going to call in today and say he's a Christian again. I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell with John.
Right.
He's not the most consistent guy on earth. I will say that. But anyway, the crew says they are still troubleshooting their issues. So we're freeballing it today, Chris. We're live, and you do stand up. You know about improv, right?
I know stuff.
Yeah, you know some stuff.
This
is nothing for you, right?
Nothing. No. Well, I host a morning show 5 days a week, right?
That's
I sit there
true.
and I got to come up with shit all the time.
And your show is what, like an hour?
2 hours. 2 hours, yeah.
It's 2 hours. 2 hours every day. So you can do 2 hours every day. You can do like a couple minutes here. Right?
Oh, yeah. This is super easy. Barely an inconvenience. I make lists because I forget things. Yes.
That's pretty good.
One of the things I want to mention is that next week, because we talk about these kind of people, we already talking about him, Dan Barker, Quark. Remember, never seen them together. Next week, I'm going to get to meet Dan Barker. Now, there's a story behind that. I know he's probably 14, 15 years ago, I moved to Albuquerque. And when I did, there was an atheist convention kind of thing. And Dan Barker came to speak. And I went down there. Now, this is before I'd done any theater. I hadn't done any Daily Atheist Morning Show. I hadn't done anything. I had no public speaking experience, zero. And that's really one of my biggest things. Okay, just got to be honest. So I went down there. I'd actually written my own book, but I think I had written my own book. Yeah. Anyway, so I went down there. I bought 3 of his books, and I got in line, and I get down there to Dan, and I'm so nervous that I forget to ask him to sign his books.
Ooh.
So I'm briefly like, "Hi, I'm Chris. Nice to meet you."
But now,
okay, see you later.
Redemption arc, you get to get it signed, right? That's what's going to happen. Yeah. That's great.
I got them, taking them with me.
Dan Barker was on, again, talking about how I can't remember things. Dan Barker was on this program many years ago, and I respect the hell out of Dan. I think he's got a cool story. So good for you for that. Yeah. By the way, you were talking about upcoming event NanoCon, which I'm not going to be able to go, but some other atheist community of Austin folks are going. So I'm jealous for you guys. Good job that you get to do that.
Well, you got the Bat Cruise coming up soon, don't you?
Bat Cruise is coming up real soon. It's like next month. So we are, and I actually have a plug about that. So I guess I could talk about that while we are waiting.
I just want to ask. Yeah. I mean, I love the idea, and I'd like to come to the Bat Cruise, but there's only one hiccup, and maybe you can work with me on this.
Okay. All right.
It's in Texas. It
is in Texas. Yep.
So if you could move it like anywhere else, New Mexico maybe, or
I think that's going to be a non-negotiable because so it's a boat and it's got to be on water.
We don't have water here. Not a lot of water.
There's no water.
We do have bats.
There's bats, but we can't move. We got to move the boat from the water to the other water.
Okay. All right, fine.
I don't think the rivers connect up.
It's a little late this year for that too.
It's a little late for that.
We are a month out. I'll pray about it. We can get a prayer circle going.
But if you are willing to go to Texas, you should come because August 16, 2025 is the Bat Cruise, is an annual event that we do with the atheist community of Austin. J. Mike was going to be there for us. Valkai is going to be there. I'm going to be there. So check that out. Get your tickets while they still last. And there's a little graphic we got going on for that. If in case you don't know, Congress Avenue Bridge has a lot of bats. So we take a boat out and we look at the bats. They come out pretty much every day around sunset. And it is a cool thing to see. Plus there'll be probably some hangouts and stuff around that time as well. So come check it out and watch the shows on the Sunday after, because every week at the Free Thought Library, you can catch a live viewing of Talk Heathen and the Atheist Experience. The doors open at 11 and it is free. And there's usually like food there and stuff. It's pretty cool. You get to meet people who are in the community and lots of people travel to come see it. So check that out if you haven't already. I also should say that we are, of course, reading super chats as well. So check that out. And I would mention the crew and say, hey, check out the crew cam, but they are working on some stuff right now. And I'm going to let them do their thing, so that we can have an actual call-in show. Otherwise, this is just a regular podcast,
Yeah.
So
I want to say in the group chat, the very first message I saw today was, hey, for some reason, the sound isn't working.
Yeah. Like I said, we were troubleshooting some stuff. And so here's a little inside baseball for you guys. Okay. So, shout out to Greg, our executive producer of the show.
Greg is awesome. Yeah,
Greg is like, awesome. Whenever there's technical issues, just don't acknowledge them. Don't ever say anything when it happens. And for the most part, I've tried to follow that. Unfortunately, sometimes there are take-ups where it's like, okay, well, you kind of have to say something because there's a show happening and the thing that's supposed to happen on the show isn't happening. So, we do our best with what we can, but, it is what it is.
And they are busy. These guys are busy. I just want to let you remind everybody out there that we do have a goal going.
Yes.
It's a competition goal for Super Chat. So if you give us a Super Chat, we will interrupt each other on purpose with a fact.
That's right. Or, you can use your super chat as an opportunity, like a call in. If you have a question for us, we can talk about that. That's another way to do it. Again, it all goes to the atheist community of Austin. Well, a little bit to YouTube when you do super chats, but we're not taking home that money. That's my point. Okay. So me and Chris here, we do this for free. So we're about that life.
Wait. This is for free?
Yeah. Sorry. Did you get the memo on that? Yeah.
I know. No, that's awesome. That's part of it, though. That's one of the wonderful things about the ACA is that without the ACA, there's so many voices, so many people out there who would not have heard the atheist message and voice. I mean, the ACA has been representing for decades. How long has the ACA been doing the thing at the place?
Oh my God. You're putting me on the spot here. It started in the 90s and I don't remember exactly what year. I think it was like 93 or 94. I could be wrong.
Had atheists back then?
I know, right? So here's a little story time because the atheist community of Austin started as a bunch of people hanging out at a coffee shop. And then the show, all the old broadcasts of the show, the ones that went viral before people even called videos viral, were it's filmed in the public access studio station that they had here in Austin, Texas. And then in 2014, they actually tore that building down. So the ACA basically bought a house and converted that house into a studio. So shows from around that time onward, and actually they were doing a little bit before that, but like, a lot of those are filmed in that studio. That's the building that you go to if you want to see it live, do that. So it's great. But one fun fact about that place where they used to film it is it wasn't the same place where Alex Jones used to film his show. He was literally like right next door. And there's at least one clip of Alex Jones calling in and talking to one of the older hosts from way back in the day. Wow. And even then they were like, "Hey, aren't you like next door to us? Don't you have a show here in this building?" Which is great because I don't know, it's fucking Alex Jones. Like he's wild. He's wild for that. So yeah. So there's some fun little history there. We see what the crew's trying to tell me here. They think that the phones have been straightened out. So we're going to try talking to our callers right now. Brent, I think, is back in the queue maybe, but I do see John is ready to talk with us. So John, let's see if this works. You are live on Truth Wanted. Can you hear us?
Yeah,
nope.
I can hear you, Dan.
Oh, there it is. I was like, oh man, it's still not working, but we got you. What's going on, John?
Before we start, I want to ask your partner, Chris Mallard, something. Mr. Mallard, how are you?
I am wonderful so far, but I'll get over it. Thank you for asking. How are you?
Chris Mallard,
There's a delay, brother.
I'm doing well.
Yeah.
I ask, are you an actor? Are you an actor? You look familiar.
I am an actor. Yeah, you can find me on IMDb under the name Chris Black. I do theater. I was going to have an audition for Shakespeare next weekend, but I've decided to shelf that so I can focus on other things. But yeah, I'm an actor. SAG-AFTRA actor. You can find me in movies like The Curse and the Covenant, in such features as The Curse and the Covenant and what was that, Troy McClure? Hi, I'm Troy McClure.
Yeah, there you go. Get a self-promo.
Yeah. I love it. Thank you for knowing that. That's awesome. I appreciate that. Yeah, I've done a couple of things.
Were you on the TV show Revenge?
No, I was not. And oftentimes I get people say I look like other actors. President Snow. I get that a lot from President Snow from the Hunger Games.
Oh yeah, I could see that. All right. Yeah, I like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it could be that.
Well, John, we got the movie trivia and the TV show trivia out of the way. What did you want to tell me? Because you said you had an announcement for me.
Oh, okay. What I'm about to say is, oh my God, I can't. This is harder than I thought it would be. This is a very big step for me, but I really feel that I am an atheist now.
That's a big deal. That's a big deal, my friend. How does you're nervous about that? You don't like talking about that, at least, or maybe you're not comfortable with that yet. You're still kind of thinking about that. Is this like a new? I guess this is a new feeling for you, right?
Yes, it's
amazing.
You have to understand. This is what I was raised with. This is what I believed all my life, and it was like, well, it was my religion, and it was a part of my identity. And for me to say this is very, very, very difficult.
Yeah. I totally get that. Yeah, and I can tell you why, because I was also a Christian, John. And, before I was talking about this stuff publicly, it was hard to say that out loud to myself. It was hard to say that out loud to my friends and family, let alone saying it on an internet live stream to a bunch of people. Right. So I totally get that. And that's why I totally want to meet you where you're at. And I don't know. I'm really happy for you that you get to be honest with yourself in the space. What's it like now? What's it like? What's the difference?
Well, the difference is, on one hand, I feel freer because I feel like there are no more restrictions, and I don't have. Well, to a certain extent, on one hand, I have no fear of hell, but on the other hand, I still have a fear of hell. But I also feel like I'm doing a betrayal.
Betraying who?
You know, my friends, my family, everyone who's ever believed in me.
Yeah, I can see that. Chris, what do you think?
One of the things is I can understand the notion that you might feel free of some restrictions. There's a common trope that some theists tend to throw at atheists, is that we just want to be atheists because we just want to sin. That's not true. So I do like to point out that you indeed are free. You're free. There's no longer an invisible creature looking over you, judging you all the time. That fear now is gone. We do live in a society, though, and you still have to follow the rules of a society. The restrictions of the theist and the faith you believed in are gone, but there are still restrictions. But I only want to mention that because there are a lot of times we as atheists from Christians get the accusation that we just want to break the rules. We don't want to follow the rules, or how can we even follow the rules or know what the rules are, what's right and wrong without religion? Well, you know what's right and wrong. And I could be wrong, but whenever you were saying it sure sounds like there's a little bit of relief in your voice. You sound a little bit relieved.
Right.
It's also hard.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's very brave of you, I have to say.
Yeah.
So,
John, we're having a little bit of an extra delay, way more than we normally do, and that's probably related to some of the tech issues that we're having. So I'm just going to say something, and I want you to kind of respond whenever you hear me, done talking here. Right. The first week of me saying I'm an atheist out loud, I've told the story before. I had a dream where there was a bomb that was going to go off, and I had to accept that God was real. Otherwise, I was going to go to hell. And I had this dream several times in that same week. And some people might have interpreted that as a sign that, hey, I need to repent. I would take this as a sign that I had so much anxiety over this decision, and I agonized this for so long that I really felt a pressure there that was not only affecting me consciously, but even subconsciously. And in my opinion, John, it sounds like that you're going through something that's pretty similar, because your belief wasn't just you. You've said this, right? It was your community. It was your upbringing. It was everyone, mostly everyone that you've known and loved, probably also felt similarly or along similar lines. So I can totally see how that feels like betrayal. And you probably are seeing all the psychological barriers that are in place for you to keep you in. Right. And have been keeping you in for a long time. And it's why opportunities like this, where you get to say out loud, hey, I'm an atheist and I don't believe in this more. It's why it's so rare, because there are so many barriers that prevent people from leaving this. And if I could convince the atheist community of one thing, it's to understand that. It's to understand how much more this thing is besides just accepting whether something is true or not. There's a lot of barriers that get in the way of that. But that's my thoughts on that, John. What do you think?
Well, I'm going to have a lot of thinking to do.
Yeah, probably so. But I'll tell you this.
For a long time, I believed.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. For a long time, I've been trying to hold on to it, but after arguing with you guys, I realized that I couldn't. Well, I guess I have to say it. I couldn't beat you guys because everything you said made sense.
I was just thinking that if I could
do it anymore.
I'm sorry. I was thinking that I was actually making a note about that just a second ago, John, in that now that you've changed. I mean, you met these people because you were coming in and debating, and I want to say arguing and debating and challenging these people. And like you just said, they kept beating you. But you know what's actually happened is now if you embrace it, you'll be on the other side. Before, you were defending an indefensible position. As you can see how illogical a lot of the faith is and how hard it is to defend, all the, the things that these atheists have been talking about. Now you're on the other side.
That's a great point.
Whenever you start to debate people, you're going to be on you're going to have more confidence going into debates because you're going to be using science and facts and reason. And I feel like you're going to have a better chance. You clearly have the dedication.
Oh, Chris, what a great point, because it is easier to be on our side of things.
It really
we don't have to do the sort of mental gymnastics that kind of comes with apologetics, right? I'm not saying that every issue is easy. There's some stuff that it's difficult to talk about, but like a lot of it is, if I'm being honest. So, John, like that anxiety that you're experiencing, I can't promise you that that's going to go away soon, but I can say that it did go away for me, and there's a lot of people that it goes away for. So it does get better, my friend. It really does. So I'm just happy for you. I really am, because this has been a long time coming, John. You realize how long you've been calling this show? I don't even remember how long. It's been literally years now. And here you are. I'm starting to become a believer that this is a real story for you. I know I was skeptical too, but maybe this is where it's at. I don't know. I'm just happy for you, John. That's all.
Wow. Congratulations. Amazing.
Okay. Well, thank you. Well, I will leave you to your show. Okay. Well, I just want to say good night, good luck, and may everything work out for you.
Thanks, John. You too. We'll see you later. That's, you know what? This is one of the first times I get off the phone with John, and I'm actually looking forward to hearing from him again.
Yeah.
Really?
I was eager when I heard it was John from Canada, and I'd watched last week's show. I was like, oh man, I'm ready to hear what this guy has to say. I'm glad he called back. I'm glad they got everything fixed.
I won't say that there's other call-in shows. I know of at least one, because John has called into several shows, and I know of at least one that said that they didn't want to talk to John anymore because they thought that John had some kind of mental illness, or John was just not well with himself, right? And I can see that perspective. You can't really make judgment calls. You can't make diagnoses just by talking to people on the phone, right? Yeah. And I can also see why a guy like John, because John, okay, he's nice now. He's kind of a mean guy sometimes. Was not always nice when he talked to people. So there is an element of that too. But I don't know, man. This is kind of crazy.
But we all get passionate,
Yeah.
And it is crazy. But now, with any luck, he's going to bring. Now, I feel there's going to be a moment of decompression where he's just going to need to kind of chill. But based on this limited amount I know about him and his tenacity, I have a feeling he's could end up being quite the voice for atheism. Out there debating, calling, arguing the other side now.
I also don't think, because most of us don't have to be activists. Right. I think there's a freedom in just living your life the way that you want to live it. Right. There is a pressure to speaking publicly. So I don't want to push John into anything he doesn't want to do.
Right. Well, no, I just meant like now how he met you and the tenacity and the way he was engaging against the other people.
Yeah.
You guys. Now he's on the flip side of that, and he can look forward to being active. And is he going to now call Christian shows and start trying to
have his angry atheist phase? Is that what's going to happen? Oh, man. I don't know. I just want John to be happy. That's all. Because,
there you go.
Like, seriously, I keep saying it, but like, I've worried about this guy, and he seems like he's figuring it out, and that's awesome. It's what we do. It's what I do. It's what I want to see happen. And it's very rare that we always get to hear that on the air, right? We always hear about, sometimes we'll hear stories about, we talk to people and then they think about it and they come back, but this is something really special. I got to say, maybe are we at the show that cracked John from Canada? Maybe so. Maybe we did it, but
helped.
I'm going to
show the light to John to Canada.
You're absolutely right. I was immediately going to correct myself because it's not us, right? John is the one that did the work and figured that out for himself. So all the credit goes to John. I'm glad we could help. Right. But that is what it is. So, man, that's just a crazy thing. We do have Brent who wants to talk to us from New Mexico. Now we're going to be switching gears here because Brent wants to talk to us about HAARP and weather control. I was trying to call in earlier. Brent, you are live on Truth Wanted now. What's going on?
Well, I mean, I wanted to bring the show back on topic, but I can't believe that I have to follow up John's deconversion. That's messed up.
Yeah, that's rough.
I've been following.
I know, bud. I know. Listen,
John's story is just wild, and the proof is in the pudding. So I've heard some pretty foul stuff come out of him, and I really hope it sticks and he continues to search. But I didn't really want to follow up after that.
Don't have experience. I didn't know that.
Was a project, the High Altitude Aerial Research Project.
Mm-hmm.
What's that?
Oh, no, go ahead. The delay, brother. The delay is pretty bad, Brent.
But I agree with you. It is a hard act to follow. Okay, I don't envy your position, really Brent. But go ahead.
Thank you. All love to John. I really hope it's earnest. But there was the High Altitude Aerial Research Project. I think it was up in Alaska, and it was running for, I think, most of the 90s and most of the aughts. And it was the idea of using electromagnetic waves. I think it was microwaves, and they would broadcast it upwards, and it would heat up the ionosphere. And there was this great conspiracy theory running around out there that this was the way they were controlling the weather to prevent hurricanes from hitting the United States. And in the best post hoc ergo propter hoc I think I've ever heard, as soon as they shut down the program, we had one of our worst hurricane seasons in like a while. And it is just a wonderful example of how conspiracy theorists will use anything that they can grab onto. And these conspiracy theories go hand in hand, right? The Elders of Zion, whatever nonsense, and the weather control. I mean, think about Jewish space lasers. So I just wanted to bring up that, these things weave together. This is not an isolated incident. This is anti-science. This is the conspiratorial mindset. And also, it's an honor to be on with you, Dan, because I feel like I'm preaching to the choir and learning from the master on this one.
Listen, one thing you should know is HAARP is still active. They've been under control for so there's been different programs at HAARP.
Real then.
This is how you know I'm in too deep. So HAARP is has been as a research facility, different people have done research with it, right? So it's had different sort of people coming in and out. But the thing with HAARP is because they are so remote, and because they do work for the they've done research for the national government. Not everything they've done has been public. And so whenever you have a thing that's not public, people just freak out. It's like Area 51, right? Like, oh, wait, what are they doing? What's happening? And then you have the people who say, oh, I used to work at such and such, and this is what's going on. And I knew a guy, and he said, and so one thing about conspiracy theories, as you mentioned, right, is that.
And I love that. Oh, the Area 51 was a huge thing. Yeah, the Area 51 was a huge thing. And then it came out that that's where we were actually testing the stealth fighters that were later seen in person. And everyone was like, well, no, it's still aliens. Yeah, it's just there's nothing that's going to satisfy their conspiratorial mindset. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Please go ahead.
No, it's okay. The delay's bad today, but we're working through it, folks. We're working through it. Yes. So the thing about HAARP and all this stuff is that there is a people who believe in conspiracy theories are a market. They are a market, right? It's very rare that you meet somebody who's really into one theory and just that theory and not into anything else, right? So these conferences, these book writers, they're just like the atheist community, where one person knows another person and kind of knows another person. They're a bit insular. And so the folks that talk about HAARP, they're also talking about, as you mentioned, the protocols of the Elders of Zion, which is a Nazi piece that was basically written from the perspective of Jewish people supposedly taking over the world. That absolutely isn't true, right? You look at posts like Marjorie Taylor Greene talking about Jewish space lasers, and you wonder where that's coming from, but they all share the same seeds. It's coming from this same sort of community that's peddling this kind of stuff and profiting off of it. It's not just for nothing, right? But anyway,
it's you, Alex Jones.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. So, I mean, I don't really necessarily like the seed analogy, but it's a spider web, right? It's these weird little corners of internet conspiracy theory, racism, eugenics, whatever, pick your different thing. And they sort of work their way and connect each other. And of course, you're right. Like, it's follow the money. Like, how else do you explain it? Yeah, no, it's really interesting. No, thanks, Dan. Sorry, Chris.
I'd like to throw a wrench in the little conversation if I could, though, just for fun. Can I be fun? Let's be fun. I want to be naughty for a minute.
Yeah.
I actually believe it's because I'm a scientist. I'm actually a transhumanist, if you know what that is. And I love science and I love the possibility of technology. I believe it's scientifically and technically possible to control the weather on the planet. All of it. I don't see why. I mean, eventually. Now, can we do that now? No. Can the government from the 1960s and 70s that built HAARP? No. I'm just saying, I think technologically, why wouldn't it be possible with enough technology, science, and so forth? 200 years from now, 150 years from now?
Yeah, sure. No, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, when you look at the advancement, the acceleration of technology, you start looking at Kardashev scales, and, Kardashev scale 0, and then Kardashev scale 1, and we started controlling literally the weather because we have control of that enough energy. Sure, yes. Is it possible? I don't know. Will we get there? Fuck, I don't.
Yeah.
That's a different conversation for a different show.
Yeah, I just wanted to throw that wrench in there, though. Yeah. I don't believe it. I don't believe that we are doing it. I don't believe anybody's out there actively controlling the weather. I'm just saying, technically, scientifically, I think it's possible. I want to ask real quick. That sounds like a familiar voice. That's Brent A from New Mexico, right?
Yeah. That's me. Yep, I'm short king, you giant man.
I actually have met this caller in person. I'm not as tall as Dan, but I've met him. And I happen to notice we've got normally on my show, the Daily Atheist Morning Show, I really spend a lot of time calling out the chat, the people in the chat and talking to them. And to not do so has just been painful for me. But we've got a lot of members, a lot of damn followers from the show are here tonight. Thank you, Brent. And sorry, and all you other wonderful people who I have not gotten to say hello to. John Hudson, Ember, everybody out there who normally I shout out whenever I run a show. Sorry. Thank you all for joining us. But yeah, Brent, nice to talk to you. Oh yeah, see, Dan, I'm 6'3".
Yeah, thank you. It's good to talk to you too. And yeah, Dan, that.
Go ahead, Brent.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. He's 6'3". I have no idea how tall you are, Dan. I'm just, normal size. You guys are weird, but that's fine.
He's a normal human.
I was going to say, thank you for the insight to this idea of the interconnectedness, especially with the feed-in of the money, the conferences. I didn't even think about the conferences. That's amazing. So I guess to wrap it up, HAARP isn't real, but it's still active. And yeah, there are 3-letter and 4-letter and 5-letter agencies, and conspiracy theorists are always going to feed into that, aren't they?
100%. Definitely agree with that, especially when it comes to another big thing with HAARP is government spending, right? People, a big thing with HAARP was that, the funding for it is the same funding that goes to DARPA and other military projects. And so that's part of the reason why people say it's like a weapon and stuff, right? So anytime the government isn't telling people something, there's always going to be conspiracies around it, whether there's legitimate reasons or not for the government not to make something public. It's going to be there, and there's going to be people that profit off of it. I mean, that's an inevitable thing, like death and taxes, I think. So that's my take on it. Any closing thoughts there, Chris?
No, a sucker born every minute. P.T. Barnum kind of, maybe we're just not. I'm just saying, Dan, we're not casting our nets in the right department. There are a lot of gullible people out there.
Listen, I've thought about this so much. Listen, because it's I've got you and I, we have precedent online. Okay, we wouldn't just be coming out of the woodwork. We've got us on the other side to be look, I was an atheist, but now, dude, I believe in God, and HAARP is creating lasers that are going to be shooting at people. I don't know. It could have happened. Yeah, one day when I'm desperate for money and I need to make it work. That'll be my change of heart. But for now, I'm okay doing this for free.
Can you imagine how absolutely set for life Ken Ham would be, or Kent Hovind would be, if they actually stepped across the line? If they said, you know what, you've convinced me, and they just came over, they'd never work again. They'd have books they could write.
Kent Hovind as guest on Atheist Experience. Right? Talking to him about that'd be sick. That'd be so cool. But they'll never do it. They'll never do it. No,
but I mean, just imagine Ken Hovind deconstructing like John did. And then, that would be crazy. Not that he would really do it. I'm just doing it for the money.
Right. That's the money in atheism, famously really good in the atheist activist world, right? Super good, which is why we get paid so much to do this show. Brent, normally I give you a chance to give your final thoughts. I'll let you go. We are having some delays tonight, so I'm just going to cut you off here in just a second. But thank you for calling, and thanks for chiming in. We do appreciate it, and I hope you do call in again at some other time.
See you.
Yep. Yeah, have a great one. These delays make it real awkward. So I'll tell you this, Chris, some more insider baseball. I don't like having more than like a second, no more than 2 seconds of silence when it comes to this thing. I think it's just good podcaster sort of policy where you don't want dead air. This is killing me today. This is killing me so bad. I don't like it. I don't like the dead air because I have the need to fill in the space, but what are you going to do?
And when you start filling in the space, that sends in the late words to him. Yep. He starts to speak. The words come over. It's
a hot mess express. It's a hot mess express. I'm not about it. But
thank you, tech people, though, for working it. Yes. Goodness
we got to give
gracious.
thanks to the crew. And, I didn't get to do this earlier because they were fixing stuff, but I think we got stuff mostly fixed. Now, can we get a crew to thank the crew that are, look at these
kill it with fire.
All these people hanging out, doing fun stuff. Man, there's a lot of people at the building right now watching. That's crazy. I didn't realize that. That's fun. Oh, someone's about to point at me. I didn't see who that was, but they were about to make some sort of gesture. I don't know. It might have been good or bad. But anyway, we have open lines at the moment. And with the delays and stuff, I'm comfortable letting folks know that, hey, in a little bit, we are going to go to an after show. So Kelly's going to be there and Chris is going to be there. And so if you want to talk to them on the fan run Discord server, you can certainly do that. That's going to be available as a link in the description to the show. As well as I can say it out loud. It's tiny.cc/ACD Discord. It's also on the screen right now. So you guys should check that out in just a bit. And Chris, I just want to thank you again for being on the show today. A little lighter on the calls, but hey, you know what? I thought it was great, especially talking to John. I mean, that's just revelatory, honestly.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate the opportunity. Yes, of course, it is a call-in show. But I appreciate the opportunity to catch up, to see what's been going on and to talk, to visit. It's been great. And I got to say, though, way to go, you. I have seen people come into my show and they'll talk about how their deconstruction story is. There have been a couple of people who said, have been an influence on theirs. But to have somebody actually come on and you've walked this guy through years, apparently, of conversations, and now you're finally there as John is deconstructing. That's just fantastic.
Listen, awesome. It's not me. It's John. It really is John who's doing the work here. And I'll tell you what, John's called into other call-in shows. I know they've been doing some work on him too. Okay, so that's it's not, it gotta be. Yeah. But I will say I think we put up with John more than other shows. I am willing to go that far. Okay, I am willing to go that far. And look, that's what it's all about at the end of the day. I don't have this show to make fun of people. I don't do it to put people down or to make people feel bad about themselves for believing things that aren't true. I want people to find true things. I really do. I want people to come to that conclusion themselves. I don't want it to be because I told them what's true, right? Or whatever, right? I want people to figure out good ways of knowing things. And I'm happy for the team. I think everybody deserves a pat on the back for John, because let me tell you, John is like, he's like that one cold case that nobody's ever solved. You know what I mean? Like that's what it feels like with John. I feel like we just cracked like the Zodiac Killer or something. Sorry, that's kind of rude. I shouldn't compare John to the Zodiac Killer. I'm just saying the magnitude there is similar in some regard, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's been fun.
And he's
Chris,
got a
thanks
whole
for
new
joining
word
us.
ahead of him, though. Yeah,
Say again, sorry.
I appreciate it. I was just saying now, it blows my mind the world he has ahead of him now.
Gosh, I know.
So much.
Yeah.
Way to go.
Yeah.
And thank you for having me, Dan. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Absolutely. So come check us out in the after show in just a little bit. I think we still have Kelly here. Kelly, you still with us? You hanging out? Maybe he already went ahead. There he is. Hey, Kelly, what's up? Here.
And I remembered not to unmute myself too. So that was like,
that's good. That's good. One step at a time. Kelly, you want to, thanks for being our backup host today. As always, we appreciate it. And what's, remind the folks at home, what is our question today?
You know what? I almost repeated the last one, but it's, what do inner circle atheists not want you to know? And remember to put it in the comments below, not in the chat on the side. So
gotcha.
Nice. All right. And we do have a super chat as well. Kelly, do you want to read that super chat?
Sure, I could do that. Let me
go ahead.
Here. You caught me off guard.
Well, it's in the notes there. I just figured you'd be a good person to do it.
Is it the one from Dustin King?
It is the one from Dustin King.
Okay, remember 2 years for $5.
There are 8 NFL teams currently without cheerleaders. Did you know that, Kelly?
You did good. Look at you.
Wow.
You did
nice.
Got him.
Nice.
Got him. Boom. All right. There you go.
Nice.
Had to get that set up for you.
Dustin says interstellar travel is possible. Send tweet. We found 3 interstellar comets. If ice cubes can do it, so can a generation chip.
Good point.
I mean, the time scale, though, is, I think, the question. I don't think people have said, hey, they can't go from different. Well, actually, I guess some people have said because of the expanding of the universe. I don't know. That's the whole thing. But it's a good super chat regardless. Thanks, Dustin King, for that. Thank you, Kelly, for.
I have a question for you real quick. Maybe you can't answer me, and that's okay. Just think about it. If the universe is infinite, can it really be a closed system?
I guess I don't know if it's infinite, but
I started out with if it is.
If it is, I guess it wouldn't be if it's infinite, right? So, do I win a prize? Did I get it right?
That's why we were talking about being in the black hole earlier. So that
I feel like I was talking to the Egyptian Sphinx for a second. Like you're just giving me your riddles. Maybe there's some sort of answer, but no, you were just speculating.
For those who don't know, we were talking briefly. Was it on the show? I thought it was before the show. We were talking about how
we were talking about living in the black hole. That was my bad.
Yeah.
So we might actually be in a black hole. That's a fun one. No relation, by the way.
Yeah, no relation. But fun regardless. That's extra fun fact for you guys.
There you go, for free. No
charge. So you get something for nothing. It's really great. All right, with that out of the way, folks, it is time to wrap things up. But Chris, any words of wisdom before we end today's show?
Just, sin safely, my friends.
Sin safely. I love it. Safely. Great little tagline there, folks. This is Truth Wanted. Remember to always keep wanting the truth. Yes. We'll see you next time.
Thank you all.
That was fun.
Watch the non-profits and join the hosts in the live chat. Visit tiny.cc/YTNP.